Hi everyone, my name is Andrea Pappacoda. I'm, I'm a Debian developer, and today we are going to talk about why you cannot apt install an LLM in Debian yet. This is me. I've been contributing to Debian since 2021 and been a member of the project since last year. And I'm also a cybersecurity student sometimes. So, why cannot you apt install an LLM yet? Because it's a bit of a mess. It's a mess in the value chain. We'll see it in a bit. It's a mess because things change a lot over time in this field. And it's because we need free datasets. But first, a little bit about Debian. Debian is many things, but if you have ever heard of it, you probably know about Debian as a distro, an operating system. Distro is short for distribution, and I as well, when starting contributing to Debian, I thought as Debian as just an operating system, but the word distribution has a very precise meaning. Debian tries to distribute software to most people possible. And this software is free software, like it's a distribution of free software. We try to get all the best free software there is to you. And yeah, we distribute a lot of software. All those dots are the categories of all the softwares we have in the archives on Debian. And with the apt command, you can install each one of them. But if every category is a dot, how many packages are there? And there are really a lot. Like, it doesn't make sense to fit them all in a slide. I did it anyway. And like the blue things are all packages. So yeah, there are a lot of packages. But most importantly, to me, Debian is a community of people. Like, we're all developers doing this for ourselves, for you all, and we try to do things for the people. Okay, so we distribute packages, but what is a package? A package is basically a software that you can install from somewhere else, but it's tightly integrated into the Debian system. And to create a package, first we find an interesting piece of software. We study it a little bit. We try to understand how it works. And we modify it a bit if needed, because sometimes software needs to be modified to actually play nice with the rest of the distribution. Then we build it, we compile it, we assemble it, and we finally wrap it in a package, and we upload it to the archive where you can actually download it with the apt install command. I want to focus a bit on the building part, because it's going to be important really soon. Building a software means taking the source code of the software, which is actually something someone like me or you wrote. You pass it through a compiler, and you get the resulting program that you can actually install. And the resulting program is what we package, but we also package source code so that any users, if they so choose, they can download the source package and study the source code as well. And let's make an example of a Debian package. This example is the GNU-BG package. It stands for GNU Backgammon. It's a backgammon game, an engine. It's been in Debian for a long time, since 2001. And you can use it to play backgammon also against the computer. But how can you play against the computer? Like, the computer needs to learn how to play backgammon. And if we try to look at the source code of backgammon, you'll find these. Like, these are lots of numbers, like, but what do they mean? Like, if I read those numbers, I do not understand what the program is doing. Like, did someone write them all? No. Those are the weights of the neural network which powers the backgammon, the GNU-BG engine. And like the fact that no one wrote that, like for 20 years, it wasn't a big deal. Like the package is still in Debian, and nobody really complained a lot about it. But I'm talking about this because with LLMs becoming more important, like this practice of like shipping weight files inside the packages, it's being put under discussion again. And this is a quote from the maintainer of the GNU-BG package, which says like, I didn't give this much thought, really, because it predated the whole LLM craze. Okay, so like I was talking about source code, so we have to talk a little bit about definitions. Like definitions are just like our goals of creating a free operating system, but written down so that we can all agree on them. And so we've always talked about source code because like we didn't really have AI models in 1997. But what's source code in a neural network? And to answer this, I want to show you again the graph I was showing before. Like to build a regular software, you need the source code, the compiler, and a program. What do you need to build an AI model? Well, you need training data, a neural network, training data passes through the neural network, and you end up with the model weights. So it's really similar, okay? It's not a perfect comparison, but to us, Debian developers, what we have to do to train a model from scratch and to understand how a model works, this is the pipeline, like it's the same thing. And so we sat down and discussed a lot about this and how we can apply the DFSGs, which stand for Debian Free Software Guidelines on AI models. Like the FSG, like this is all really boring, but the main point is that as to really say that a model is free, it has to have training data as well. This is not like the final opinion of the Debian project. We still haven't reached consensus about this, but this was the most agreed upon point. And yeah, the point is not really the definition, but the point is the thought behind it. And if we actually decide that we want to have the training data together with the models, well, that has a lot of practical consequences. And also technical and ethical, of course. So let's start a bit with the technical consequences. We have a few of them. I'm going to touch pretty much all of them, but first I want to say just a few words about dataset licensing. As I said before, like Debian has to be able to redistribute everything we have in our archive, right? We have, we have source packages, so we take the source packages, we rebuild them, and we have to make sure that users can also do the same so that they can study the software fully. And this also applies to datasets under this interpretation. So to be able to have us give you the dataset, we should be able to redistribute it freely. And very often, datasets are made up of like books, web pages, like things which do not really have a clear like we do not have clear licenses, like we are not sure we can actually redistribute that. So if we were to redistribute data sets, like that would be a technical issue. But there's also an issue with the dataset size and the training time needed to retrain AI models. So like LLMs require gigabytes of data, so like they're out, right? Not everything is an LLM, like we have other kinds of smaller models, but LLMs are for sure out. But for now, because if we look like at this project, this Andrea is, he used to work for OpenAI. He was one of the founding members. Now it works in other big tech companies doing still AI stuff. But in this little side project of him called LLM.c, he recreated from scratch the GPT-2 model. The GPT-2 model is the precursor to the GPT-3 model, which actually was the first model powering ChatGPT. And it's a pretty big LLM. The smallest variant of GPT-2 of 124 million parameters, like with this project, he has been able to retrain it in just 20 minutes. And we don't really know how much time OpenAI spent to train the original GPT-2 model. But we know that the cost of training it was like on the something like $10,000 just to train it. And like, yeah, 20 minutes, he said like you can train it for, the bigger variant, you can train it in 24 hours. In like with $600, we in Debian cannot do that, obviously. But still, compared to $10,000, it's a nice improvement. Also, the original dataset of GPT-2 was at least 40 gigabytes. And the largest package we have in Debian is just 1 gigabyte, and it's Google Chromium, by the way. Yeah, so you cannot really, if we were to add LLMs as big as 40 gigabytes, we don't just have GPT-2, we would have to add a lot of other models. That would be an issue because Debian also has what are called like mirrors of the Debian source code. So like there are some universities who like take all the source code of Debian, all the packages, and they re-host it locally so that students or other people near the university can download it quicker. And also because we in Debian, like we are a community project, we don't have big servers to host a lot of stuff. So we would have to like say to these people, oh, by the way, instead of 4 terabytes of hard drives, you now need 40 terabytes because we have a lot of more stuff. So that wouldn't scale. But at the same time, this tiny stories dataset is a synthetic dataset, which is of just 2 gigabytes without compression. And that's really more similar to the kinds of sizes we can have in the Debian archive. Okay, now let's talk about other issues like reproducibility and security. Before talking about this, I have to introduce a bit the concept of secure code delivery. Like secure code delivery in simple words is the issue of me. How can I be sure that the software you are giving me is the actual software that you are telling me that it's. I try to make it simpler, but like how can I verify that I'm actually running the same software you are saying that you are giving me? And to do that, you need like 3 things. The first thing is like you have to sign your own source code, like with cryptographic signatures, so that you can verify that the source code you are giving me is the actual source code. But then like we don't compile things from source, like we download applications from app stores. So like we need a way to, given the source code, given the application, like verify that we are both using the same application, like to verify that I'm not using a backdoored variant of it. And the third thing you need is being able of, given the source code, to rebuild it and obtain the same application you downloaded from the store. Like, so I download, I don't know, the Signal Messenger from the Play Store, and then I recompile it with the source code on GitHub, and if I get the same exact binary, then I know that the application on the Play Store isn't backdoored. And this is called reproducible builds. Debian works in this initiative, reproducible builds. We are not the only ones contributing to it. Like F-Droid, the free software store for Android, is also working on reproducible builds. Arch Linux is working on reproducible builds. It's a cross-distribution initiative to make sure that the software we are distributing can be rebuilt and can be verified. And like, if we were to apply this to LLMs, it would be a big issue, because like you would have to retrain LLMs, and you would have to spend hours and hours and hours to rebuild your LLM just to verify that it's not actually, it doesn't have like some bias or kind of backdoor in it, which was inserted inside the dataset. And the third one is transparency. Transparency has lots of meanings. Like one meaning could be, for example, that you want to make sure that your dataset, as I was saying before, doesn't have a kind of bias inside it. Like it doesn't overrepresent or underrepresent some kind of minority. And also from a more like really technical point of view, sometimes having access to the training data is crucial to understand like the results the model is giving you. Like we have this example from Aryan Ott, like a student and also an IE member, who was working on a project which involved some kinds of LLMs called RAG, whatever. The important thing is that they were only able to understand what the model was giving them. They were able to find this biomarker associated with cancer only because they had access to the underlying dataset. Without that access, model findings would have been unverifiable, as he says. Also, we have ethical consequences. As I was saying before, like dataset licensing comes up again. Like that, I also want to put emphasis on the fact that AI companies often like are able to train their own AI models on copyrighted data, because they exploit the fact that there's this clause in copyright called fair use. So they basically say, I can use your book to train, or your website to train my model, because it's fair use, because I say so. So yeah, they have lots of copyrighted data on their servers, and it's not really an issue for them. It would be, as I said, it would be an issue for us, because this would be public. And also, there's this question I put here, like, is copyright too strict? Like, because if they're able to do so, and like no one really complains about it, like, is it fair that they can do so and we cannot? Maybe copyright should be changed so that everyone can use everything freely. I don't know, I'm not saying it should be, I'm just saying they're doing so, so maybe we should start rethinking about the copyright system whole, maybe after we decide if like we want LLMs in Debian or not. Also, there are ethical consequences about the bias of the model. As I was saying before, like if you hide something in your data set and you decide to overrepresent something, without having access to the training data, you are not able to verify that this is actually happening. And also, finally, there's this kind of power dynamics, because only the author has access to the training data. So, like, is it fair? Because yeah, they give me the model. I can use the model freely. I can maybe tweak it a little bit. I can do some passes of retraining, so I can tweak a bit how it works. But they have this big advantage of having this, like the possibility of retraining the model and really understanding how it works that I don't have. So to me, it's not really fair. Takeaways, because I want to give a lot of time for questions. So if you have questions, like, start thinking about them, because we are almost there. LLMs are currently too large to be retrained by Debian, but not everything is an LLM, and this could change soon because things are moving really fast. So maybe, like, right now, LLMs are impossible to have, but maybe tomorrow, who knows? But most importantly, our priorities are our users and free software, not new technology. I don't want to see Debian like saying, oh yeah, no, but we can just ship LLMs, and like forgetting our priorities are users and free software. Because, like, yeah, LLMs are cool technology. I do use them sometimes. They're really useful. But like, Debian isn't like the place where you find the most up-to-date technology anyway. So yeah, we shouldn't be training that for freedom. And we should actually focus on distributing AI software which aligns with our values. Like, we should strive for distributing AI models which people can actually understand and study, not big models that they can just use. And yeah, because the point of having free software is so that anyone interested can actually download the source code and figure out how it works. If it is too big, maybe that's not really aligned with our values. That's it. Questions? Yeah?
Just a moment.
Oh, sorry, the microphone.
Thank you very much. First of all, it was a great presentation. I have a question that's related to the two slides you had at the beginning with source code, compiler, binary, and the other one with a data set. Yes, thank you. Data set training and model. So first, kind of a comment on this. I think for AI models, you both have source code, compiler, and program, and the training data sets, training and model. That is, you both have some code which you compile, and that is independent from the data. It's parametric, and then you have the parameters that you learn by training. And now there's the question, which is, what is your stance with respect to the code part? So there are tools that allow you to serve LLMs, even not very large language models, like Llama CPP, for instance, which has an open license. What's your stance about, like, distributing just the software that allows to run models and then allow people to choose which kind of model they want to use, whether they trust it or not, whether that one is trained on open data or not, and so on?
We already do distribute that kind of software. Like, if I'm not mistaken, it's either already in Debian or we are working on it. We have Open Llama so that you can do so. So yeah, we try to give you the free tools, like in the base system of Debian. You have in the main zone of the Debian archive, you have a piece of software which is fully open, and then you can use it, yeah, to download non-free models, like just as you can use a web browser to, I don't know, run a web application which isn't free. So yeah, we do agree with that. We do.
Thank you.
We do that.
Thanks for the discussion, for the presentation and the useful information. Question, before LLM there was already machine learning. I mean, IA nowadays is fancy machine learning. I see it this way. Was machine learning already packaged in Debian before? Because fundamentally, that's the same use case. The difference is the size of the data. So, was it already?
Yes. Like, for example, the GNU-BG package, as I was saying, has a neural network which like is used to play against the CPU. And like this wouldn't become okay after we decide that we want to have training data for all packages. We would have to like modify how this package is built to retrain it from scratch. So yeah, sometimes we do have that now, but we would need to like find all cases like this and modify them. Like we also have packages like OpenCV, which is for computer vision, which have some kind of pre-trained machine learning models for computer vision. So yeah.
With the training data, but it was never packaged with the training data?
Sorry?
It was never packaged with the training data?
Yeah, it was packaged without. The issue is that like the upstreams, the authors of the original software often do not really think about this that much. So that's also one of the reasons I'm giving this talk, is so that people start thinking about this and start like, okay, I'm using this data, so I should at least document that, and maybe also, if possible, make it available so that other people can retrain it from scratch.
Okay, so just a small insight from a conference in AA that was in Bolzano not so long ago, where they were listing all the problem of nowadays of the models. And basically the solution to all was data curation. And it's gonna happen, like things are gonna grow down in size as they are seeking for expert capable models. So the use case will be easier to deal with, I think, in the future.
I hope so as well.
Hi. No, about the time that it needs to retrain a model, because if you have a program, you can actually, almost everybody can afford to compile a normal program. But have you ever heard something, because I don't know, is there some research on trying to understand whether the final trained model comes from a training data without training it, like asking specific questions to the model to check whether that I mean, I know it's probably impossible, but maybe to have some percentage of certainty if that model comes from that training data without retraining it.
It would be an interesting thing to research, but I don't know, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, okay.
About training, do you know the NosePsych project is about distributed intelligence network? Basically, is training distributed so everybody can contribute. So maybe that could be a way.
Yeah, I don't know about that specifically. I've heard another one, which I forgot the name. But it would be maybe a cool thing to work on. But the way Debian currently does this is like we have our own infrastructure and we like use that exclusively for security reasons. Because like if someone tries to poison maybe a part of the model in this distributed network of training, it could be a real issue. Like we don't want to have another XZ vulnerability backdooring every system again. But maybe it could be an option, but we didn't really discuss about it.
Thank you for giving the talk. I would like to ask specifically about the fact that Debian is a binary-based distro, not a source-based distro. And I'm thinking that I would like to ask you personally about your opinion about if you see that Debian could package a free software LLM that actually can be perfectly reproducible, that is perfectly reproducible, that unfortunately is probably too expensive. It requires specific hardware that is difficult to power. It consumes a lot of power, and it is doable, but very expensive. And do you see Debian as a binary distro kind of biting the bullet there and saying, okay, we will train this for you. You can do this yourselves, but you probably will not. Do you think that would be acceptable for you?
Okay, two things. The first one is that AMD is actually contributing a lot to the Debian infrastructure, like for AI workloads. So that could be mitigated somewhat by sponsors who give us hardware. Like the second point, we do have some packages in Debian which are still binary packages in a way, so you just download them, but they get you just the source code. So yeah, we do have like prior art of this, but for coherence, like I would personally prefer to have Debian continue to be like you can just run apt install and you magically have what you need without having to retraining from scratch.
Yeah, thank you. In a recent Firefox release, you have this AI sidebar that happily connects to all the big tech, evil large language models. Shouldn't there be something like a warning before you connect to something like that?
I've seen that on another computer. It didn't show up on mine. So maybe we already like remove it from the Firefox package, but I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, I do agree that if we are shipping that, there should be like some kind of warning.
Yeah, because Nextcloud is a nice feature in that. It has a kind of traffic light with a color that's as the ethics about the large language model you're going to use. So it warns you.
So I didn't understand.
Nextcloud as
Nextcloud,
a connector to connect to all kinds of large language models, but then there you have a traffic light that has an indication about the ethics of the model that you're going to connect to. So without being very restrictive so you can still use OpenAI, but it's red.
Okay, we are a bit behind on this, but it's a nice suggestion.